What is going on, YouTube? This is your boy George JC back again on the ATS Report, and today I wanted to talk about Caitlyn Clark. I think it is well overdue that we have that discussion because I wanted to pose to you all: do you think that she will be the eventual GOAT of the WNBA? All signs point to her just breaking records, especially on the women's division one level. As of right now, she's currently second on the all-time scoring list. She just passed, I believe her name is Mitchell, on the all-time scoring list for women, and Kelsey Plum is right above her. I believe that it's just a matter of uh, when and where as to when she's going to break that scoring record. But I just think that Caitlin Clark is someone that needs to be talked about a little bit more than she already is being talked about, because she is a special talent. She is constantly just doing things that you haven't seen before, especially on the women's level of sports. And the question is, when she gets to the WNBA, do you think that she will eventually be probably one of the greatest players, if not the greatest players, to ever do it in the WNBA? And I'm gonna stick my neck out there and say yes. And there's a lot of reasoning behind that, especially from the collegiate level. She's again doing and putting up performances that you've never seen. Just yesterday on Saturday, they won against Maryland the Terrapins 93-85, and she had a high of 38 points. Just a very good game. But I mean, those are the norms now. For the season, Caitlin Clark is averaging 32.4 points a game, 7 rebounds, almost 8 assists a game on 48% field goal percentage shooting in 34 minutes. I mean, she's also averaging 1.7 assists, so she can do it all. I mean, there's no deficiencies in her game from what I see. I've seen highlights of her, and it is ridiculous what she's doing. Just yesterday, she put up a number of shots from the logo. I mean, it's almost like she's trying to like outdo herself or challenge herself to do things that you just do not see from that level, and it's amazing to see. She's making history. I believe Fox Sports dedicated a camera to her and following her scoring output, and then it got recorded or put on TikTok for others to kind of chat about and comment on. I mean, this is the age of social media, so obviously things like that is going to happen. But she's doing things that is just unprecedented. She's bringing a new wave into women's sports, into women's basketball, and eventually into the WNBA. To me, she kind of compares to Steph Curry, because Steph Curry, in a sense, has changed the game of basketball. You see all of these scoring outputs, people scoring 60 and 70 points like they're 20-point games now. Like, it's just easy now because of the way that the league is catering to scoring and offense, and the teams and players are averaging more points now. You got teams that are normally averaging 120 points a game or 115 points a game in a season, and it's utterly ridiculous, because back then, just 10, 15, 20 years ago, I mean, you're talking about an average usually on or rather NBA teams of 90 something points a game. That's what would win you games. It would be in scores of 93 to 85. Now 93 to 85 is a third quarter score at the end of regulation. Like it is utterly ridiculous, and I think that's going to transition over to what Caitlin Clark could potentially bring to the WNBA because of her shooting prowess as well. You see a lot of people are saying, well, maybe her and Steph Curry should have a three-point shooting contest just for fun. But I mean, just having that kind of discussion means that, she, I think, can change the outlook of the WNBA and could potentially have put more eyes and more money into the league as well. I think she could be maybe one of those type of players that can really truly push the WNBA into a different stratosphere as well when it comes to their revenue. But one of the things I also wanted to comment on is there was an interview that Gilbert Arenas had on his podcast, Gil's Arena. Shout out to him. And he had interviewed Sheryl Swoopes, who is probably one of my favorite players, because I actually started watching the WNBA when it was in its infancy stages, when the Houston Comets, I think, won like 3 championships in a row, and they had Thompson, they had Sheryl Swoopes, they had oh my goodness, I'm forgetting her name, Cynthia Cooper. They had that three-headed monster, and they were dominating, and Sheryl Swoopes was a beast. I mean, you could not stop her. She was constantly getting to the basket, just a very unstoppable force that they were. And that's what actually led me into watching the WNBA. And so I was kind of surprised by her comments, but at the same time, I guess I get it because sometimes you just have that gatekeeper mentality, those that have done it before you, and they're starting to see the game kind of change in a way that they haven't played. And so they kind of are saying, well, this is I don't think that, that this particular person is going to be that impactful as they seem right now. And that's what she said actually on the Gil's Arena podcast, is that she thinks that Caitlyn Clark isn't going to just step foot in the WNBA and be as good as she is now. Like, she's putting up astronomical numbers now, but she thinks that there's going to be maybe a growing pain period with Caitlyn Clark's game where it has to transition a little bit more smoothly to the league, and maybe there'll be a year or two of her getting to where she may be now. Now, a lot of people will say and have kind of criticized Sheryl Swoopes' comments in the comment section and saying that, well, maybe she's just kind of being a hater. She's being a gatekeeper to the league and saying that, well, because Caitlyn Clark is kind of playing a different style of basketball from how they used to do it, that maybe she isn't really on board and isn't a big fan. But whether or not you have the opinion of whether or not Caitlyn Clark is going to transfer those gaudy numbers from the league from Iowa to whichever team she might be on, which more than likely will be the Indiana Fever because they hold the number one pick and she has to be going number one. That's no question about it. If she makes herself eligible for the draft this year, because I believe she has one more year of eligibility to technically stay in Iowa because of the COVID season for a fifth year. But I think that it's inevitable that she'll probably be in the league draft this year for the Fever to pick her. But I think that, with people stating that maybe she's not going to be what she is now, that's just their opinion. I won't say that, that's true or not true. What I will say is I think that Caitlyn Clark is a force to be reckoned with. Crazy thing is she's kind of removed in our mind, or in my mind, Paige Bucher, because at first I was like, man, Paige Bucher is going to be that one, and Caitlyn Clark came along and was like, well, hey, I'm the new hotness, and I think that Caitlyn Clark is going to continue to rise in her game. And just to go over some of the numbers actually for her in their college career, because she is, like I said, on the cusp of actually reaching that all-time scoring record that Kelsey Plum has currently. Kelsey Plum is the star point guard for the Las Vegas Aces, the championship point guard. And she is currently sitting second in the all-time scoring list for the Women's Division I League at 3,462 points after their win in Maryland. Kelsey Plum is now sitting at 3,527, so under 100 points to go for Caitlyn Clark. And like I said, it's just a matter of when and where, whatever team she might be breaking that record in. And the crazy thing is that she actually could be honing in on the men's record as well for Division I basketball. Pete Maravich, the LSU legend, actually hold the men's mark at 3,667 points. And so Clark is actually within striking distance of that as well. So it wouldn't be crazy to think that she could actually hold the record, period, for men and women in scoring, even if she doesn't come back for another season that she's eligible for. So that's just insanity. So you got to give kudos to her, and just the things that she's doing is just, it's unprecedented. Like I said, it's special. And I think that coming into the league, I believe that she will transfer her performances over, whether it be on the Fever or whoever she plays for. I believe that she will continue to impress a lot of people. I think that she's going to change the game. I think that she's going to change the style of the game with her shooting. I think that teams are going to probably cater more to shooting threes. Like I said, just like when Steph Curry came in the league, that's where the league is going. So you could potentially see a WNBA that has more points per game, more teams that are scoring more scoring outputs. And again, that's just going to be better for the league and putting more eyes into the league and putting more revenue into the league as well, because that's always been one of the questions about the WNBA is the fact that, are they making enough money to continue to build the league up? And I think players like Caitlyn Clark can bring about that type of change, or at least we hope, right? because the WNBA is a organization that should be recognized, just like the NBA. I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions about whether or not women's basketball should be on the same level as men's basketball when it comes to paying these women a certain salary or whatever the case may be. But I think we should get to a point where there will be progressive discussions into paying women more. And I think players like Caitlyn Clark, like a potentially Angel Reese, like Paige Buchers coming into the league could bring about those discussions where the talent level also equals the amount of money that they should get paid. It's just inevitable. I know there was another interview that a lot of people are clamoring over when Michael Porter Jr. stated that there's some things that maybe that the WNBA should take into consideration about lowering the rims so they can be a little bit more exciting. Maybe more dunks will happen. I don't think there should be corners that should be cut, and that's just my opinion. I'm not saying that I'm fully for making some changes to make it more exciting, but what I'm saying is that I think as is the WNBA could thrive if players like this continue to build that brand for women's basketball. And Caitlyn Clark is one of those special people that could potentially do that and move the meter in that direction. And so want to get you guys' thoughts on that. How do you feel about Caitlyn Clark, her performances, her scoring output, her potential breaking the records for women's and potentially men's in Division I basketball in college? Just do you think that will make a change in the WNBA? Do you think that she's going to be just as impactful in the WNBA as soon as she steps foot in the league? How do you all feel about the WA and NBA in general and their progression as an organization? And just leave your comments down low and I'll be down there with you. And as always, show some class, comment, like, and subscribe. Share this video with others. I'll see you guys on the next ATS Report.